Hello, I'm here with Starner. Hi, hello.
Hi,
Uh,
how you been?
yeah, so far so good. We're meeting at UbiComp and just in the conference marathon, I heard you, or I saw you giving the keynote at Mobile HCI, and I thought
Yes.
we'll
So I've
talk a
had
little bit about that.
the mobile HI and two workshops too. So I've been busy.
Yeah. So, yeah, what was the topic of the Mobile HCI
Well, I was looking
keynote?
at how to make mobile sign language recognition useful for the deaf community. So a lot of folks have been working on sign language recognition over the years, but they don't really have a good use case for it. Um, these days, at least in the United States, if you're deaf, you can call up an interpreter on your smartphone, and they will interpret for you right then and there. And it's a free service. So, mobile signage recognition is going to take a long time before it's good enough to actually do anything useful in that domain. So the question is, what are some good use cases for mobile sign language recognition? And I've been working on the space since 1994, and back then we showed the first continuous sign language recognition system, a phrase level system, but it was dedicated to just me in a very controlled situation, wearing black clothes, with a very specific camera setting. Right? It showed that it could be done, but it was way too specific to be useful.
Yeah, but it should be possible right now, no? I mean, if you started it in 1994 during your masters.
Well, the thing is that we don't really have much training data. Right? For speech recognition, we now have millions and millions of hours of speech. But for sign recognition, we only have a couple thousand hours at most. And those are data sets that I've been recently releasing at Georgia Tech and at Google. So before then, it was like a couple hundred hours most. And so, given this resource poor data set problem, what sort of problems can you tackle? And for me, it's been focusing on making smartphone games to help the hearing parents of deaf children learn sign language. Now, it turns out that this is a crucial problem for the deaf community. 95% of deaf kids are born to hearing parents, and most of those hearing parents will never learn enough sign language to teach it to their children. One of the good uses of sign language recognition that I've discovered working with the deaf community is trying to help hearing parents of deaf kids learn sign language. Turns out 95% of deaf kids are born to hearing parents, and most of those hearing parents never learn enough sign language to teach it to their children. And it's really critical for these deaf kids to learn sign language for their development, both socially and mentally. What we see is that kids who are surrounded in sign, they'll grow up normally. Deaf kids of deaf parents grow up the same way as hearing kids of hearing parents. But not having access to English because you can't hear, or sign language because your parents aren't signing to you, cause these kids to not get access to language at the same pace as hearing kids of hearing parents. And that's really crucial for developing things like short-term memory. And so what we're trying to do now is bring the sign language games to the hearing parents. And these parents really want to learn sign language, but for English speakers, American Sign Language is as hard to learn as Japanese. And at least in the state of Georgia where I'm in, it takes about an hour for every sign language class. And so these parents want to learn, but they get overwhelmed with way too much time and effort to sink into it. So what we're doing is making games in sign language to help the parents learn, and we're using the sign language recognition on the smartphones to make those games. Our current game called Pop Sign AI, it's one of these bubble bursting games where you do three of a kind. It's like you have a array of
What's that?
you have an array of colored balloons at the top of the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to shoot the right colored balloon to get three of a kind and burst them. You're trying to clear the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sign language recognition version of it, you aim at say the yellow balloons, and then you make the sign for yellow. And if you do the sign correctly, it'll shoot the yellow balloon and burst all the ones it touches.
Oh, cool.
Red for the red balloon, etc. And we do more vocabulary words, like we'll do owl or elephant or dog or cat, and same sort of thing. It's just different colored balloons with different labels on them, and you're trying to sign to match it.
So do I get that right? So the person is holding the phone and then signs with one hand?
Yes. So you hold. So you aim with. So you hold the phone with one hand and aim with your thumb of that first hand, and then you sign with your dominant hand. And when you let go of the touchscreen, it then sends the video to the recognizer, does the recognition, figures out what color bubble you're trying to shoot, and then shoots it. So what we've been showing is that we made a test game called Pops on AI Preview that's out there now. You can get it on the App Store or the Play Store. And it works very well. People love it. And we're now expanding it to full 563 concepts you teach any child in any language. We're doing it in American Sign Language first. But what we're hoping is that we can provide a toolkit called the Sign Language Recognition and Gesture Toolkit, which has the app for Android where you can actually collect sign from people who are deaf. Collect enough examples of it. Then we have an annotation tool. You can sit there and make sure everybody signed the right thing. And then we have a simple LSTM model, which is good enough to do this type of recognition. And then we have all the game structure. And so what we're hoping is that people can take our American Sign Language game and translate it to Japanese Sign Language or Indian Sign Language or Arabic Sign Language, or take your pick.
Okay. How many concepts do you need for that?
So about 563 is what's in what's called the MacArthur Bates Index, and those are the first concepts that you teach any child. We've released the video for 250 of them so far, and those are about I think we have 50 signers doing 30 examples of each of those 250 signs, and now we're adding the rest of the 563 right now. And that'll be up on signdata.cc.architect.edu shortly.
How much would you need to be fluent in a language, in a sign language?
Well, for sign languages often have a lot fewer words than spoken languages. That's because each sign has a lot of inflections. So, for example, if I put my thumbs up with my dominant hand and with a hand underneath it, my left hand underneath it, and I just hold it there, that's just a sign for help. But if I move it from me to you, this is me helping you. If I move it from you to me, it's you helping me.
Oh, okay. So you need also the spatial information.
Correct. And so it's all those inflections, all that movement that gets you all the speed and diversity of concept that you do in a spoken language. Now, what we found though for deaf kids, all you really need to get before they get into like elementary school is about 150 signs of survival signs. But what we're finding is that these parents are happy to learn more sign. They'll keep on playing the game until they run out of vocabulary. And then we'll also find that these parents will sit there and practice, go to bed or whatever they want to sign to little Johnny. They'll sit there and practice until they're good enough, and then they'll go talk to their deaf child. And so it's really, we're really encouraged that if we make it fun and convenient, that these parents will actually pick this up, and it'll really make a huge difference in the development of these deaf children.
Yeah, and also porting it to other languages.
Yeah,
would be
and
cool.
there's 150 different sign languages out there. It's a whole lot more than that, but there's about 150 sign languages that are sort of in the same type of sign language that American Sign Language and French Sign Language and British Sign Language is, and then the Asian Sign Languages. So that's what we're targeting first. And the hope is that we gather enough examples from all these different sign languages, it'll create a good embedding set, and then you just fine tune it to a new language. And so while it may take us 50 to 100 signers to get American Sign Language, by the time we take it to say French Sign Language or German Sign Language, which is very similar to American Sign Language, you only may need 10 or 20 signers in order to get something that's good enough to make the new game.
Just to understand you right, so you're talking about a large language model for signing?
Well, it's not. It's isolated, right? So it's individual signs. So it's what we know is that the human hand and body only has so many degrees of freedom. And so you can imagine that a deep learning system can have get like embeddings from one or a couple of those sign languages, and then generalize to more sign languages. Is the hope.
Yeah, but it could work.
Yeah, and I also have, I have hierarchical model systems working on as well. But it turns out that with enough data, the deep learning systems are getting some traction.
Yeah.
And for this game, where we only have about 5 different color balloons on the screen at once, so you got to differentiate is between 5 signs. And so that's relatively easy to do with an LSTM, like a straight out of the box LSTM.
Yeah.
So, and that's the kind of the first practical use of the sign language recognition stuff. And then you start looking at things like dictionaries, or being able to command the virtual assistants and that sort of stuff, or finger spelling to do text entry on a phone. For the deaf, they finger spell whenever it's a proper noun, like introducing somebody's name, or doing an address or URL or phone number or something like that. And so being able to do fast text entry with finger spelling is useful too.
Yeah, cool work.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go play with it, man. Go
definitely.
Go get into it.
Definitely. I already have PopSign on my smartphone as well.
Oh, excellent.
Started with it. Yeah.
The AI one, the sign language recognition one, or the original one that just shows you the videos?
So right now just the original one.
The original one? Okay,
yeah, I couldn't find it on iOS. Is it available?
It should be. We're recompiling it right now because there was a change in operating system. And so if you don't want to recompile for the new operating system, they drop you off.
Yeah.
So we now, we're trying to set up a monthly build for each major platform.
Yeah, no, because I have it on Android, but I don't play so much with that. So.
But we're keeping 2 things. The old PopSign game has all 563 signs in already. It just shows you the sign, and then you fire at the right balloons. Now the PopSign AI preview, that only has 35 signs in it right now, but that's the one with a recognizer in it. Yeah. That is, as far as I know, it's the first practical use of sign language recognition that's out there, and it really does work.
Impressive. Can't wait for more updates on it.
Yeah. Well, more fun games hopefully coming out. The SLR GTK, that SLR GTK, system we're putting together, the toolkit we're putting together, will hopefully help a lot of people make new games as well. So it's designed to make it easy, and hopefully we'll get all these game making classes at universities involved. Because you can make some random throwaway game, or you can make a game that actually might help change somebody's life.
Yeah, and you might have fun playing a game and also learning a little bit sign on the side.
Sign language is great, man. You can talk at a distance. And
No, and it also just helps you staying active. I mean, learning a new language is always good.
Well, and one of the really cool things is that it turns out that teaching a hearing infant sign language allows them to communicate with you 6 months before they can speak. It turns out the larynx is actually in the chest when you're born. It takes about 12 months to develop to the stage where you can actually go past just cooing sounds and be able to spoken language normally. But a 6-month-old can sign to you just fine, and so that makes it much easier. Instead of crying, they can actually ask for more food, or they can ask for milk, or tell you they just pooped. Right? And what's really neat about this is they're actually learning how to sign. These kids actually start acquiring short-term memory skills
and language skills that you wouldn't have otherwise.
And so you can actually test these kids, and they have an IQ boost up to like age 5 just from learning language sooner. So in my opinion, everybody should learn sign as an infant, because it's pretty clear it actually helps you acquire linguistic skills in whatever language you end up speaking.
Yeah, it's just another language.
But it's a language you can learn earlier that you can speak.
Yeah.
And that forms a short-term memory earlier. It means you can learn everything faster. At least that's the hypothesis. Given the series of experiments I've seen, that's the operating hypothesis about why these kids who are taught sign language get such a linguistic boost and such a maturity boost over the kids who never learn sign language.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks a lot for joining. And looking forward to playing a little bit more, and also learning American Sign Language, and maybe also Japanese.
Catch you later.
Yeah.